And that's why it's fashionable now for people to say, oh, I want to start a business, right? But then again, it's like, because it's so trendy, people then underestimate what it takes to actually become, do you know what I mean? And that's why you have to enjoy the moment. And this is why last time I touched on the fact that before you quit your day job, right? Because, bruv, I still work. I still work as well. I still work as a concierge, bro. But do you understand? But when you look at my net worth, trust me, it's saying a lot. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But people don't see that. People just think, oh, I'm going to disrespect this guy because my guy's sitting at a front desk and a receptionist. Do you get me? But it's like, bro, you don't.
Your why is different.
My why is different. My goal's different. Do you understand? But then it's like, this is why it's so important to enjoy the process. It's so important to enjoy right now, and just know that when the time comes for you to retire, you would have built a solid business. Do you know what I'm saying? You would have built something substantial that you can then fall back on, and you can have, you can enjoy your time. So I think that's why it's so trendy now. Anyway, do you know what I'm saying?
What would be your number one piece of advice for someone who is working a job and they're like, wow, so Charlton's just told us on this podcast that if you look at his net worth, it's like serious. What would your advice be to someone who's in a job and they're thinking there's no way out for me here? I'm just stuck.
Yeah. My advice would be to first get educated. When I say educated, I don't mean going to school. I mean financial literacy. Like that's the only way you're going to see a way out. I mentioned the game Cash Flow 101, right? The reason why I love that game so much, and me and Alyssa loves that game so much, one game, right? The first game that you play can last at least an hour, an hour and a half, because it replicates real life. Right, so you get a job. You can have a job as a cleaner, and it would show you your expenses as a cleaner. It would show you your lifestyle as a cleaner, and at the end of the game, you will still end up being financially free, where you acquire a lot of assets, and now you have cash flow coming in, even if you work or you don't work. You know what I'm saying? So I would say financial literacy is the first thing, because that's how you can learn what assets and liabilities are. Do you understand? Even as a cleaner, there are cleaners that have expenses. Me, for example, I don't drink, I don't smoke, right? And these are expenses that I don't have to worry about, which means I can now save up more than the average person. It doesn't matter whether I'm a bank accountant or if I'm a receptionist. The fact of the matter remains, I've got my assets and my liabilities under control, right? I know that I'm not going to spend on certain things. I'm going to be disciplined, and I'm going to save up enough, even if it's £20 at the end of the month. Why? Because that £20, for example, I can use that £20, buy a piece of silver round, right? And silver goes up 50%. Yeah. I've already increased my net worth. Yeah. And that's how it starts. Do you know what I mean? But that all comes with financial literacy, financial IQ,
And I think to add on to that is that when you do start like that, you start to realize how much money is actually moving around, and how easy, how accessible this thing is. Yeah. You was talking about a cleaner, for example, someone could just say to themselves, I know cleaning. I've done cleaning before. Yeah. All right, cool. Let me start a cleaning company. Yeah. But that's not prestigious enough, innit? But if you understand how much cleaning companies make,
that's it.
Then you understand. You'll be like, hold on a second. I might need to do this. Yeah. Cleaning companies make bank.
Exactly.
They make a lot of money.
Exactly. But then
the contracts that they get, all of these different things, big money.
Right. And this goes back to the next step. This goes back to the next step of, after you get that financial literacy, after you get that financial IQ, now it's okay. You know that you probably need to start up a business if you want to have passive income, right? And then the thing goes back to, I think you pointed out, where it's like, it shouldn't be about trying to make money, right? Man. There's a quote that says, service to many leads to greatness, right? It means you need to now find a way where you can provide value to many people, right? So as a cleaner, if I'm just cleaning this one apartment, right, I'm getting paid for this one apartment. But if I'm like, I want to help people clean their apartments, I want to find a way where I can clean more apartments, you would then need to start a cleaning company,
Exactly.
hire more people,
Yeah.
and guess what you're doing? You're providing value to many people. You're providing value to the people that now you've just given a job to.
Yep.
You're providing value to the people whose apartment you're cleaning,
Yeah.
even when you're not there.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So it then goes back to, once you've gotten the literacy, once you've gotten your, the studies, the knowledge, then it comes back to, okay, now I need to help people.
Yeah.
Do you know? And that's how ultimately you get to that point. Where
I've had a cab driver,
I love that.
for years. I've had this cab driver for years, bro.
Yeah.
Like, next thing I know, I called him to like, can he take me somewhere, whatever. Someone else picks up his phone and he's like, yeah. I'm basically, he started having other drivers working for him. He didn't say, I'm cab driving, this is dead, I need to do something else.
Yeah.
I need to jump into this. He said, no, I know cab driving. I could put people on, I could pay for them to have their license and all that stuff.
Right.
And we work out a percentage that I take from whatever, wherever they go, whatever runs they do or whatever. And that's what he does now. He chills.
There you go.
And he's got like 4 or 5 people.
There you go.
That he's forwarding calls to that drive for him.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? He
Exactly.
didn't try jump to nothing crazy, but now
that's it.
Like you said, he's creating a service. He's creating passive income now because he's driving one person, but really and truly, he's getting 4 payments.
Yeah.
Coming into him when he's only driving one person.
There you go.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, so it's not even far fetched. It's right in front of you.
It's not, man. It is right in front of you, man. It's right in front of you. And this is the thing. And do you know what? Like, this business segment is going on too long, but it's cool. We're 10 minutes over time. But I was going to then go back to the question that you asked me as well, to add on to that would be emotional control, which is something I had. One of the questions I had is how important, how key is it for people to have emotional control, right? Because when you're in your workplace and you can't take all the pressure and you can't take all the stress, it now comes down to you being patient.
Yeah, man.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the emotional control that's required, to stay in that job while you're building something outside of work. Do you know what I'm saying? You need to be patient and you need to understand that situation, it might take you 3 to 5 years before you can leave your current job. Do you know what I'm saying? But if you don't have that emotional IQ, once again, it then becomes a thing where you get frustrated with everything that's going on. Yeah, you lose confidence in whatever it is your business you're trying to start up. Yeah. So emotional control is also key, man. Like, just being patient, having faith, believing that what you're doing is going to work out, regardless of whatever people around you tell you. Do you know what I'm saying? So especially when you're working, man, people are going to look at you like, what, you think you're better than me? You're going to go and leave this place. No, we're stuck here together. Do you know what I mean? Just play the lottery, man. You'd be surprised how many people in the workplace play the lotto, hoping, and they will play for 15 years, hoping that
it's a big thing, bro.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Big thing,
and then
bro.
I'm like, okay, well, you're laughing at the guy who has more of a chance to become financially free by working and trying to build a business, whereas your chances of you winning the lottery is like
crazy.
It's way slimmer and way less than So it's just, yeah, man. Emotional control is major, very major, man. You're gonna get a lot of slaps, a lot of
hell of a lot
things,
of slaps.
Yeah,
you are gonna run into a lot of problems. There's a lot of things are not gonna go your way, are not gonna go to plan. And you have to be able to keep your head. If you cannot keep your head, you will lose it all. And
and your hair.
Yeah. And the thing is, with me, I've had times where I've lost my head and it hasn't ended well. I've had times where I was like, okay, this happened last time. Keep your cool, because you know what happens 2 or 3 weeks later, or a few hours later, or And I think people really need to understand the power of managing your emotions.
Facts.
If you can't, then you will run into a lot of trouble, because you might have, say for example, you might have a client that works with you for 2 years. They spend thousands of pounds with you. They might change their mind overnight. Now, what happens? You haven't got time to be angry. You haven't got time to throw in the towel. You haven't got time, because you might have employees that you still need to pay at the end of the month. You still got rent that has to be paid. You've still got responsibilities. You still have to inspire. You still have to lead. You still have to want people to work for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you haven't got time. And if you don't handle your emotions, what example are you setting to the people around you? How are you going to get people to buy into what you're doing?
Right, yeah. It's no way to be a leader.
Yeah, no, you can't. And I've had to learn that with experience, because in the early days, I'll admit, I'll be the first to put my hands up. I was terrible. Like the smallest thing would really annoy me, and I would throw my toys out the pram.
It's all experience, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all experience. And also, I think another thing that limits people as well is I meet a lot of people that do not feel worthy of like being able to own their own business. And I think that's mad. And I think that because they don't feel worthy, they don't look at the option of trying to educate themselves, finding out how money actually works, because they think that it's above them when it really isn't at all.
Exactly.
And when they learn about it, they realize,
what have I been doing?
wow, it isn't that hard. Like, it's not.
It's. I don't know if you guys watched it, but what you said, CJ, is so true. But Mark Cuban, he said that he basically educates himself hours on end every day. Like that's his biggest asset. Is that he can educate himself on something and learn it and be, prolific at it through that education, and not necessarily the moves he makes or the money he's got, but that skill of educating himself. That's something that he can never. It can never lead him in the wrong way. Because he's forever.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Accumulating knowledge.
Accumulating knowledge. Like he reads so much. Like he reads. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, give a wrong quote, but he said some crazy hours. I was like, bruh.
No, and that's the thing, man. For me, I think the first time I read, right, because I read my first book when I had no electricity in the dark, bro. And that book was so, like, I'm not going to say it because I feel like I'm giving him too much credit, but like when I read that book, I realized that.
Let me guess, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Bro, when I read that book, I realized that there was so much that I didn't know. Do you know what I'm saying? And the more I read, the more I realize.
You started loving it though, innit? Like you start loving this knowledge that you're getting. You start to see the world.
And that's why I was like, that's why I ran away from like social media, bro. I was like, I need to.
I'm gonna chime in.